So we're going to show you in this video how we replaced a rope swing that we have. The one we had was probably 30-40 feet up in our backyard here. You can see the rope itself. Actually, the original rope is not terrible. The rope down here closer to the swing and the board itself wore out. And unfortunately, the limb that it was on also is dead now. So we think we've got to put the rope higher. So how do we do that? How do you get a rope 50 feet in the air in the right spot on that limb? Well, obviously we could try to climb up and go out the limb, which sounds pretty dangerous. Or we try to throw the rope up there, which can be a challenge. Or we use a slingshot, which is what I'll show you in just a second. The rope that we're using here for this swing is solid braid, 5/8 inch polypropylene rope. I think it's supposed to hold about 390 pounds. So we think that's good enough. It's very similar to the original one that we had, and it has held up pretty well. I think it's been up there about 5 years. But make sure if you get rope, the solid braid, if it's braid just around something, some inside part, that's not strong enough and not good enough for long term. All right, so how did we get it up there? We were actually fortunate. I saw this $3 slingshot at Atwood's. So I went to Atwood's, got a $3 slingshot. I had this spool of fishing line, 14-pound test. Got a nut like this. So I just tied some fishing line onto the nut, and then the slingshot with the fishing line. I had to go ahead and let all the fishing line sit on the ground because it wouldn't spool out very well. But I had a large amount of fishing line on the ground. It was still attached to the spool, so I never cut it. But then I basically had a pretty easy shot. Just pulled back and shot the nut. It went right, first time it went right through the V, the Y in that limb where I wanted it. And it went much farther, so we had to gradually work it back down so it would fall. And it fell. It was just heavy enough. The nut's got to be heavy enough to still fall down. So then we had the fishing line over the limb, and we had this smaller rope here. It's maybe a 1/4 inch. We attached the fishing line to this, and we ran this line up over through that same hole, came back down, and now this line is heavy enough to pull the 5/8 inch line. So then we pulled the 5/8 inch line through that same hole and down. And that is how we got the rope where we wanted it to be. Now, the question is, how do you protect this rope from the weather long term? We're gonna use this rubber bike inner tube. This was Josiah's idea. We're gonna cut it, then thread it through there, and then where the rope is riding or rubbing on the limb, we'll make sure this rubber is in there on that spot, and maybe that helps it last longer and have less risk of decaying over time. So the challenge now is how to get that rubber in the right spot, and I think Josiah is planning to climb the rope. So that's a whole nother challenge.
I am makeshifting because I didn't have, these are called Prothix. They're used to climb a rope, ascending when you're in a rock climbing mode, but I didn't have 2 of them because I left the other ones at home, so I'm trying to make my own. You use this to form footholds and handholds to climb a rope.
Here's the challenge,
so you don't have to worry about it.
That rubber has got to get on this rope.
Right, so if I go up there, you can send it up.
All right, so what we're gonna do is take this rubber bike inner tube. We're gonna need to go ahead and cut this rope, but we're gonna run the tube around the rope so that up there where it's rubbing on the tree, it'll be inside a bike tube.
What you could do, I mean, this isn't gonna be as pretty, but use this rope to tie these 2 together at increments all the way up. That way you have 2 ropes all the way. You have the 600 pounds.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about it anymore. Yeah. And that way, if somebody wanted to climb it, they can climb it too.
You'd almost like to wrap this around there twice up there, right?
Instead of doing just
the one deal. And look at this held up. I mean, I don't think that thing's rotted at all. I wish we had some Scotch Guard to... Alright, so I think we'll just go with the single thing. Don't know that you're ever going to need more than 300 pounds. This thing holds 390 pounds. We're going to have one seat here. Well, let's go ahead and cut it down here, and then we'll see. This is tough rope, man. I may need my buck knife.
Because it's
a good knife?
fully braided.
No, that one's really dull. because I use it every day.
See if you saw it.
That's fine.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the difference in a good one versus a bad one, right? All right, so this is probably too long to thread it all the way through, right? So we'll cut this.
We need
as
to burn
well.
that in so it doesn't like.
Yeah, eventually we will.
Well, it's gonna.
It'll go through there pretty easy. Do we need all of that? I guess it doesn't hurt. The more you keep of that, the more rope is protected up there.
Yeah, I would keep it on.
Maybe I can. Yeah, we're almost there.
You want to
Gravity's
focus.
going to help us. Let it go down here. We'll let gravity help us.
Okay, what kind of knot is this?
The bow line.
Bowline
Goes
knot.
into the hole, comes out of the hole, goes around the pole, jumps back in the hole.
Wow, say that again.
Exactly.
Something like that.
And I'll just tie a safety on there.
It's a. You have a.
Yeah. Then it'll just all melt up.
You basically got to melt that stuff so it gets really hot. But it all sticks together. That will go up. Eventually, that will slide up with this, right? So it'll come up.
Well,
there
are
with
you
it.
gonna send up the? That's the thing. I think it'd be better if we had 2 ropes, and we can just. I can climb up and put that around it to keep them together. It won't look as fresh as just one, but it will be stronger. And so then this one goes up here.
He's trying to carry. What are we gonna do once you get up there? Trying to get the rubber.
No.
I'm sure you could Google it,
Work out.
but if I was stranded on desert island, that wouldn't happen. So is that going to be the new rope?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
green one.
So first you got that over, and then he went up and
Yeah,
trimmed
you
it
know how I
up.
did that? Yeah. Is it bad?
No, that would be scary.
I'll have to get like
Yeah.
substantial or
Yeah. I can hire somebody that does.
We can get on the bow line.
Question